It's your boy Joel Ortiz, and I want y'all to keep it locked right here because y'all watching the real Gully TV. It's official. This ain't no phony business right here. This is Gully TV. You keep it right here.
Peace. Eid Mubarak to everybody who completed their fast this year. I had to get on here briefly, man. It was something on my spirit. I hope it don't ruffle too many feathers, but normally when I ruffle feathers, it turns out to be a good message. So check it out. This morning, I seen a video of a young boy dancing provocatively, you know what I'm saying? It looked like they was training him to be a ballerina or some shit like that. Now, it probably ain't nothing wrong with, you know, a male ballerina, not to say that all of them end up being blades and shit like that, but a good portion of them tend to take on feminine traits. And this little dude, y'all probably seen this video. He's in this video, he's popping and just doing too much. And you can hear he's being instructed. It sounded like it was a man instructing him and shit. And the man who was instructing him, he probably was a blade or somebody that's going to try to molest this kid or some shit like that. That's just the world that we live in. But anyway, I'm reading the comments below the video, and everybody like, man, what's wrong with, you know, teaching him how to dribble a basketball, or, you know, throwing a baseball around with him, or teaching him, you know, coding with computers and shit like that. Like, why that? You know what I'm saying? And I got to thinking, I'm like, man, where is his daddy at? Because if any father that would see what was going on with this kid, he's gonna, if he's heterosexual, he's gonna protest it. He's gonna be pissed the fuck off. So I got to thinking about, man, the whole absentee father thing. And this video right here was prompted by a video that I seen a couple weeks ago. Somebody spoke out on one of these podcasts, and he said something like, when young boys become of age, they should go and try to listen to their father's side of the story and shit. And I'm saying to myself, you know, that it struck a chord with me and shit, because you know, I got things going on in my life with my sons and shit. We don't see eye to eye and shit like that. And I, you know, recollect on my upbringing and shit. And I was thinking this morning and shit, I was like, I wonder how my peers looked at me through, you know, my years of being 12, 13, 14, 15, shit like that. Because I was raised with my father. And it didn't start out like that. It didn't. And none of my peers' father was around except for one. My man Reg and shit, his father Gino was still at home with him and his mom and shit. But none of my peers' fathers was around. Me, I was raised with my father. Whenever you see me coming from a grocery store, I'm probably with my father. You see us coming from the laundromat, I was with my father and shit. Like, I was with my father all the time. We was always seen together and shit, right? And it didn't start like that. I ran away to be with my father. Straight up. At about 12 or 13, my mother ended up getting married to a cat. I was not feeling it. I bucked at it from the door. I was not feeling it. I wasn't with it. Women, they're emotional and shit, and they get to creating images in their own mind that's not reality based. And my mother was a part of that, you know, train of thinking and shit. She thought that we was gonna be the Huxtables and shit. You know what I'm saying? With the nigga that she married. And this nigga was a piece of shit. He was a lowlife. None of us liked him. None of us. But she liked him and shit. And because of that, she tried to force him on us. But the one that it affected the most was me. I'm the one that resisted the most. Like, I was really, really angry around this time. I was wilding out. You just don't know what it's like being forced to take a picture or be in pictures with a motherfucker you don't like. Like, we would be at family gatherings and shit when they start taking pictures of everybody's families. I would be forced to get in a picture with this nigga, man. And I'm like, man, I'm not with this shit. I don't like this shit. This nigga ain't my father. I don't like this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And I was pretty much being bullied by my mother. I was being bullied, you know what I mean, to be a part of her dream or her happiness or her imagery. And I wasn't feeling that shit. So it just, I started raging and shit, man. And it came to a point, man, where I ran away. So for like a week straight, I was getting chased home from school because I jumped out the window, told my little sister, I'm out of here. Jumped out the window, ran to be with my father and shit, right? Who stayed probably like 6-7 blocks away. Ran to be with my father. I'm a basketball star at the time, so I can't miss no school. I'm running away. I just jumped out the window, ran to be with my pops. I'm going to school the next day. I got to. I'm a basketball star. I got to be in school. I got to be in class and shit like that. So, of course, she know where to find me at. So she's coming to school every day to try to retrieve me and shit. And I escaped. You know, she's a woman. She couldn't do nothing with me. I was an athlete. I'm snatching away from her, breaking out, running, jumping over fences and shit. And go back to school the next day. Here she come again and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I was bucking. I wasn't going to be with her and her husband and shit like that. Like, that just wasn't gonna happen. And it wasn't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? We was Muslims. He was pretending to be one. In a nutshell, I'm watching her try to make this nigga like my father and shit. You know, this nigga had no polish. This nigga had no Islam background. My father introduced us to the Nation of Islam. He the one. He was John 23X, where my mom was a pork eater, deaf, dumb, and blind and shit. My father introduced us to Islam, right? And I'm watching her trying to make her husband like my father, trying to teach her husband the ways of my father. Like, she's basically trying to raise another child and shit. That's what she was doing. This nigga had no motion. This nigga had no career. This nigga didn't do nothing but drive my mom's vehicles, eat up food in the house. Like, bum ass nigga. Bum ass nigga. He's actually the first person that I shot at. And when I popped at him and shit, he went and got her, and she came and hopped out. You know, I was on the corner and shit, getting money with my niggas and shit. She came and hopped out like she was bulletproof. I'm raging at the time. She down there about to get shot because I'm not trying to hear it, and I'm not liking her at the time about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, when love is twisted, it could turn to rage and hate. And I wasn't trying to hear it. I had a homie I spoke about in the book that I wrote. His name was Joker. And I told him what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when he started seeing I was out passing street lights and shit like that. Like, man, what you doing out here? And I told him what was going on, and he like, let's kill him. You know what I'm saying? That's what my man was on, and she like, let's kill him. You know, so gave me a hammer, and we was basically waiting to encounter him. This nigga was getting high, right? And he coming to our block to cop and shit, and it was just only a matter of time before me and him ran into each other because I'm pumping at this time and shit. I'm pumping now and shit. And my man said, let's kill him. So I'm damn near about to kill her husband, you know what I'm saying, about these rage issues that I'm having and the fact that she felt that she could force me to be in her life. But anyway, getting back to my father, I ran away to be with my father, and everything that I know that's thorough and polished and advanced comes from my father and shit, man. My father was a hustler, fly guy. You know what I'm saying? Had a work ethic, got all intelligent, very intelligent, got all types of philosophies and slick shit to come out of his mouth because he's reading Khalil Gibran and all different types of shit like that. I'm in his house. I'm looking through books that he read and shit, books that belong to my pops. That's where I first seen Wilt Chamberlain's mansion in a book that my father owned. He had shoe boxes full of Ring magazines and shit. I was exposed to, you know, Muhammad Ali, Ken Norton, Dwight Braxton, all types of, you know, Jim Brown, all of the athletes that my father would, you know, like, approve of, follow, whatever. I was exposed to that shit. Not only that, I was exposed to Frederick Douglass and just all types of greatness because I was around my father and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, even today, I got a cologne collection, all hot shit. You know what I'm saying? And these is traits that I picked up from my father and shit, man. You know, just being into fashion. And I made a video about this on this channel. Being into fashion, having an eye for the baddest women and shit, I just totally absorbed all of his essence from being around him. You know what I mean? And it made me way more advanced than a lot of my peers and shit, because I was around the teacher and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, my friends, they don't own a bunch of tailored clothes and shit like that. Like, I was going to the tailors with my father when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Watching him getting his shoes polished, shoe shine stands, taggarts. Was a men's store where, you know, as soon as you come in there, man, the tailor's running up on you, putting the tape measures on you and shit like that. I was getting exposed to that and treated to that type of lifestyle as a kid. Cufflinks, everything that would make a man a Renaissance man, I absorbed it from my father. And it made me way more advanced than cats my age. You know what I'm saying? Like, publicly, guys might try to act like, you know, the ones I grew up around, they might try to act like we equals and shit. But privately, they know what time it is. They know their place around me and shit. Like, when we was in prison, everybody followed me in the penitentiary. Everybody my age and shit like that, because you in a place where you on foreign land, and whatever alpha you feel that you have, whatever leadership skills you feel that you have, this is where it's gonna come out. And a lot of dudes wasn't built like that to be flexing those qualities in a prison full of dangerous men. You know what I'm saying? I done been all over the world, Europe, London, Paris, Antigua, just all types of shit, man. Places that these places wouldn't interest my friends and shit. It wouldn't, because they didn't have those seeds of opulence or upscale greatness placed into them. That shit was placed in me by my father and shit. And when I was looking at this video of this young boy, I'm like, damn, where's his father at and shit? I'm like, this is crazy. And this is what happens when the father be excommunicated from a shorty's life and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I got homies and shit that was in the prison system with one of my sons and shit. And they would tell me, like, they like, yo, this nigga don't know you, do he? Like, they would hear him talking slick about me, saying little fly shit about me and shit. And they taking inventory of the guys that he think is thorough and he following shit. And they know it don't fit, it ain't right, it don't make no sense. Like, and they telling me, they like, yo, he don't really know you, dude. And I'm like, nah, to be truthful, nah, he really don't. You know what I'm saying? And part of it was, I was in the streets getting money and doing my thing at the time, but his mother was never really my girl and shit. Like, I had a bunch of women, like my father and shit. You know what I'm saying? And to make a long story short, my sons, the sons that I do have, them niggas don't even like me. Them niggas was bred not to like me. You know what I'm saying? They was bred not to like me, but as they come into adulthood and start to understand what type of shit women be on, how they mind work, how they are vindictive, they probably would understand the whole situation. It'd probably be crystal clear to them and shit. I'm walking in circles, by the way. I'm able to articulate and think better on my feet, so bear with me. But anyway, they don't even, my first cousin was in the penitentiary with one of my sons and shit, and you know, they would listen to these guys talk about the chicks that they desire and who they thought was fly and shit. My cousin said, he's standing there like, man, Jamil was fucking all these groceries in my hand. I'm gonna put these groceries down. My mom called and disrupt my video, by the way. This one of them putting on here right now. And I explained to her what I was doing, so she's not shocked when she see it and shit. I'm sharing my truth. But in a nutshell, I'm looking at this little young boy, man, you know, basically being groomed to be a fucking blade and shit. And I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, damn, it's crazy and shit, man. I jumped out the window. I jumped out the window to be with my pops and shit. I jumped out the window to be with him. Some of these young boys, they not built like that. They not built like that. I don't know whether it's an attraction situation. I was that attracted to my it was a magnetism that existed between me and my father or what, but some of these little boys, they not built like that, you know what I'm saying? And they ended up being led in the wrong direction. A little boy that's raised without a father, that's destruction. That's destruction. There's gonna be people in these comments that say, well, you ain't been in your son's life and all type of crazy shit. I don't give a fuck. You know why? I'm not kissing nobody's ass. I'm not trying to teach no grown adults. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to civilize no savages. And I damn sure ain't going to court. I hear a lot about that. You know, you can go to court and get custody and fight for this and fight. Man, my video just got disrupted again. She probably gonna want to talk about some of the shit I'm saying, but again, some of these young boys, they not strong enough to jump out the window. And you know, getting back to what I was saying, right? I'm not going to court fighting and none of that shit. I spent a good part of my life in the courtrooms fighting, picking juries. Just, it's the same shit. Like, it's the same shit. You ask anybody that's been on child support or had any civil type action in the courthouse, they carry you just like you a criminal and shit. They still be having the same attitudes, the same dispositions and shit. Like, I freed myself from that. I legitimized my life. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to no fucking court. And it's really a shame and shit. It's really a shame. If you look at Floyd Mayweather, that's a product of his father. If you look at Steph Curry, that's a product of his father. A lot of these athletes and shit that you see, that's what happens, man, when the grooming is present from the father and shit. A woman can't do that. You know what I'm saying? A father not gonna accept a kid saying, yo, I'm tired, or I don't want to go to practice today. A father not gonna accept that. A mother will say, okay, baby, you ain't gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Enabling him and really destroying his life to be for real and shit. But just, you know, that video that I seen, it's a world filled with these situations, man. Mothers feeling that they can fill the shoes of a father. It's impossible. Mothers basically running guys out of their life and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, chicks be bugging the fuck out, like, for real. Like, chicks be bugging the fuck out, man. I be having situations going on in my life where I be like, man, I'm probably gonna end up being a player or some shit for the rest of my life. Because chicks, they be bugging the fuck out. It don't matter what you do for them, how you interact with them. Something small could set them off, man. And you be like, damn, I just spent all this money on this bitch. I just flew this bitch here. I just fed this bitch this. I just bought this bitch that. And it's over with just like that. You know what I'm saying? And with a woman go through a breakup and be with another motherfucker days and weeks talking about she love him and shit. Whereas the man need recovery time. Like, the man be very distrusting of people and shit. Like, that affects a man differently. Women, they just going on with their life like ain't nothing happening and shit. Like, it's crazy as hell. But I had to vent. I had to get this shit off because it's been festering for a few weeks and shit, man. But when I seen that video of that little boy acting like Leroy from Fame, that's crazy. If you're old enough to remember Fame, Leroy was one of the first TV blades we was exposed to and shit. Like, nobody had to tell you that the nigga was a blade. You could just look at him and just see what the fuck he was doing. Like, that's not a man. That's not a male and shit. So, just, you know, chin up, chest out, man. Keep doing them 100 push-ups a day, man. Keep a bankroll on you, man. I call that being in tip-top shape. And that's the best thing that a man could do. And gradually, maybe that magnetism will affect your son, and your son will be trying to pull up and get some of that flavor, some of that style from his father. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get the notifications. I wish I could have did this video all in one swoop, but it kept getting disrupted and shit. So, I said what I said, and anybody don't like it, you know what you can do. Peace.
What up? Heard the voice, saw the face, made the choice. Young Money Militia Gang Zone, Corey Guns, and you watching Dribble. Gully TV. Let's get it.